So let's talk a little bit about how to set up a character for animation. Before anything can be animated, we actually have to be able to convert it into sort of a usable puppet or rig that Flash can understand. Because otherwise it's just thinking of all of this as sort of pixels and points and color, and like it doesn't know that I want this to represent an arm, right? And so to make it know that, we have to kind of distort it in a way or set it up in a way that it can figure out what I want it to do with it. And this is called rigging. So we're going to create a rig for this arm so we can do the animation on it. Now, of course, if I just grab this arm, I have this ability, and I'm in the free transform tool, I have that ability to rotate it, skew it, scale it, all those different things that I might want to do. And we can do this to even just use it to get a better looking arm than what I had before. But we can also use this to do our animation. And so what I'm going to do is, using my lasso tool here, I'm just going to start slicing this thing into the pieces that I want it to be in. So I can right click on here, convert to symbol. I'll call this upper arm. Okay, and then I'll just delete that, or delete that. And so we'll just keep doing that in here. Do convert to symbol, lower arm. Okay, again, delete that. And then the rest of this we will just call hand. Now remember that we are using this as a graphic symbol, not a movie clip or not a button. So just remember to do graphic, and we'll hit OK, and we can delete that again. So I'm going to create one more symbol. I'm going to say insert, and I'm going to create a new symbol. And this is just going to create an empty symbol that I can use to construct things within. So I'm going to say arm, and so now I have this new empty symbol, right? And so I can grab the different parts of this arm, drag it in here, and we can start reconstructing our arm to sort of have our animation on it. And so we have all of these pieces now. The next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to reposition its pivot point, because now if I start animating this arm, its pivot point is there, and that doesn't really make sense for how I want to move it. It doesn't make it impossible, but just to make this a little bit more easily understood, I'll just put the pivot points at where the bones would actually pivot, right? And so now this moves a little bit more like we would expect the arm to move. So I'm going to select all of that. And the last thing I'm going to do on this before we start animating is I'm going to right click and I'm going to say distribute to layers. And what this does, let me delete that old layer, this just distributes each of these symbols to its own layer inside of this animation section here. Now again, remember we are inside of the arm symbol. Okay, so that's what we're animating in here now. So let's go ahead and highlight all of this on frame 30. And now this is important. You need to really make sure that your pivot points are where you want them to be before you start inserting more keyframes, because pivot points are also animatable. And so if you animate an object moving and its pivot point at the same time, you're going to get some really weird motions, and it usually just kind of breaks the entire animation. So I'm just going to insert a keyframe on frame 30. And again, this is sort of a marker that shows what this animation looks like at this point in time. So on frame 1, the arm looks like that, and then on frame 30, the arm looks like that, which is still the same. But I'm just going to change what it looks like on frame 30. So we'll get a little bit of something like this. And so what we get now is going from frame 0, it pops into that for frame 30. So the biggest thing about this that's bothering me immediately is the fact that this arm is feeling very jagged here, right? And so what we can do, remember these are still symbols. These, like I could go in here and completely go into the symbol, completely erase everything and redraw this entire arm as a photorealistic, like, you know, bodybuilder's arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into this symbol and I'm just going to add some paint to this to kind of make it look the way I want it to look. And so if I just go in here and just kind of round that off to where we don't quite get as much of that odd looking section. And so I'm just going to go into each of these symbols and kind of do the same thing. I'm doing it from this vantage by double clicking it inside of the arm symbol, because I like that this gives me sort of this overlay that lets me see what the drawing underneath it looks like. And so I end up with a little bit cleaner results usually. And again, we can always use the eraser. We can do anything we want to. We're artists. Sorry. So I'm just kind of cleaning that up a little bit. And then go back to the arm. Double click on the hand. Gives us a little bit more to just kind of clean up and just get our overlap in there. Now keep in mind we don't have to paint in there. We can also use the tools to go in there and sort of adjust these points to do what we want them to do. But for this point, at this example, it was just easier for me to paint. So I'm going to go back to the arm. And so now when I look at that and it snaps to there, that's not quite as ugly. So what I can do is I can highlight all of these keyframes and say create classic tween. And so that's going to transition them into that. And that's not bad. Now we got some weird things where this is coming disjointed from the upper arm is coming disjointed from the forearm. Now the reason for that is because this point on the upper arm is moving because of a rotation from a point right here, right? We have this, this symbol that, the rotation point's there, and so when I rotate it, this point on the end kind of moves in an arc, right? And so if we have motion from rotation, that usually, always results in an arc. This is actually moving, not rotating. The forearm is moving, not rotating. And so that's always going to happen in a straight line. And so we're getting a little bit of a disconnect on how they're moving together. So we're just going to go in here and start setting more keyframes to make those line up with each other a little better, right? So we get that. And I can even sort of drag the hand a little bit. And so that's not bad. We're getting a couple other little spots running through there. I would probably just go in here and insert more keyframes. Kind of adjust that a little bit more. And maybe there as well. Insert keyframes. Just kind of learning how to make it do what I want it to do. So in that specific example, let's see how that works. And so that's not bad. Okay, and so that is really all there is to character animation. Well, no, that's not true. That's all there is to setting up a character inside of Flash to be able to animate it. Now, one more thing that I would say that is interesting about this is that all this is a symbol, right? And so let's say that within the process of doing this arm curl, I wanted to have this symbol look like it's growing a muscle or something, right? I could go in here and grab this, sort of adjust that out, like the muscle's getting bigger, right? And create a classic tween. I'm sorry, that's not one. I need to create a shape tween. We pray that that works. That's not too terrible, right? And so now when we go back to the arm and watch it, okay, so it's kind of messing up, it's twitching, it's having a little bit of a weirdness going on. And so if I grab the upper arm, all we got to do is just adjust which keyframes this thing's starting on. So we don't want it to loop on that. We want that to be frame 7. and we want this to be frame 15. And we want that to be frame 22, and then this to be frame 30. Okay, and so what we would get with that arm movement is it kind of builds a little bit of a muscle in there. Okay, so this is just what we're doing inside of our character when we are setting it up for animation. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and we will do the walk cycle as a separate animation. So we'll see you soon.